Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. In 1962, at the height of the most brutal geopolitical confrontation, the United States of America launched a heavy ballistic missile into outer space, carrying a thermonuclear warhead of colossal power. 1.5 megatons in TNT equivalent. This top-secret mission bore the codename Starfish Prime. The military's official goal was extremely simple and clear: to test exactly what would happen to potential enemy radio communications and electronics if a nuclear charge were detonated in the highest, rarest layers of the atmosphere. They got their answer. A powerful electromagnetic pulse instantly knocked out American satellites in orbit, blew out streetlights in Hawaii thousands of kilometers from the epicenter, and the night sky over the Pacific Ocean eerily blazed with an artificial blood-green aurora for several days afterward. But in this story, there is one frightening detail that U.S. Department of Defense censors radically cut from all official popular science reports. The rocket encountered an insurmountable obstacle even before the fuse triggered, at an altitude of exactly 73 miles. It did not explode on impact. It did not veer off its set course. The heavy multi-ton projectile, screaming upward at a speed 5 times faster than the speed of sound, stopped instantly, from Mach 5 to absolute zero in a negligible fraction of a millisecond, as if, at full speed, it had slammed with all its might into a monolithic, blank, impenetrable wall located in the middle of the absolute void of outer space. From our very first astronomy lessons, we have been conditioned to one idea. The sky above our heads is infinite, space is open, our planet flies freely through a boundless vacuum. But what if recently declassified military archives of the 20th century tell a completely different story? The sky above your head is not infinite void. The sky is a hermetic, durable lid. Let us turn to the first hard fact recorded by instruments, which made generals in the Pentagon break into a cold sweat. 1962. The U.S. Air Force is conducting a massive series of high-altitude tests under the ominous, almost mocking codename Operation Fishbowl. Think for a second. Why, for the study of outer space, do combat generals choose a term denoting a glass vessel for the isolation of pet fish? A heavy Thor rocket with a nuclear warhead launches from isolated Johnston Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. According to the flight program, the final point of the route and the subsequent detonational boom are supposed to occur in a deep vacuum. The warhead heads strictly vertically upward, accelerating to a crazy 5,000 miles per hour. Streams of telemetry are continuously broadcast to ground recording stations. The rocket crosses the 117-kilometer mark, those same 73 miles. And at that moment, the recording instruments go crazy. Instead of a nominal continuation of flight, the sensors register instantaneous, catastrophic breaking of the hull. In a vacuum, where there are no dense layers of air, without the slightest visual collision with any material object. Moreover, sensitive piezoelectric sensors record a massive acoustic shock wave, a sound wave in an airless space, where sound is theoretically incapable of propagating according to the laws of classical physics. One of the leading military engineers who supervised the retrieval of telemetry data from the rocket later left a line in his closed internal report, which independent researchers were able to drag into the light only in the early 2000s. He wrote literally the following: "Judging by the nature of the signal attenuation and the instantaneous cancellation of kinetic energy, the rocket simply hit the ceiling." A ceiling, a solid physical barrier in the middle of space. Supreme Military Command urgently concealed these graphs, officially writing off the anomaly as powerful electromagnetic interference in the ionosphere and the possible work of Soviet electronic warfare stations. The tests continued. The nuclear charge was eventually detonated forcibly slightly lower, and the world got beautiful footage of an artificial aurora. But the main system question remained untouched. Why did a rocket at ferocious hypersonic speed literally flatten itself against the void? And why did this exact same system glitch repeat with unvarying accuracy again and again during subsequent secret suborbital tests in 1963, 1967, and 1974? For over 45 years, these telemetric tables lay under a triple stamp of secrecy. When they were finally partially pried open for academic physicists, The latter only threw up their hands in confusion. The military only had one standard phrase for the protocols: high-altitude anomaly. Remember, if a material object runs into an insurmountable obstacle where, according to all official laws of science, there absolutely cannot be anything, then these laws describe far from the whole world. They describe exclusively what is inside the pen. And beyond its physical boundary, completely different system rules apply. Ancient peoples did not spend their time composing beautiful fairy tales by the campfire. They meticulously documented what they saw with their own eyes. The user interface of our reality in those distant epochs was either much closer to the Earth's surface, or the basic firmware of the matrix itself was much more obvious and visible to a consciousness untainted by technology. Let us now move from deep antiquity to the present day, to the modern laboratories of NASA and the world's largest space agencies. It turns out that advanced satellite equipment regularly detects large-scale physical phenomena in low Earth orbit that simply refuse to fit within the framework of classical meteorological models. To avoid frightening the public with the true nature of these processes, scientists have invented beautiful, fairy tale names for them. Sprites are colossal red electrical discharges that, during a thunderstorm, strike not downward into the ground like ordinary lightning, but strictly vertically upward, from thunderclouds directly into the cosmic ionosphere. The altitude of these discharges reaches exactly 100 kilometers. Blue jets are incredibly thin, powerful beams of piercing blue light that shoot upward from clouds at high speed and freeze at an altitude of exactly 70 kilometers. Elves are faintly glowing, rapidly expanding rings of electromagnetic radiation with diameters that can reach 400 kilometers. And these perfect rings form at that very same altitude, 100 kilometers. Look closely at this clear systemic pattern that official science tries not to advertise. Absolutely all of these colossal plasma phenomena occur within a strictly limited corridor, at an altitude of 70 to 120 kilometers, and all of them are massive electrical discharges that behave as if there is an invisible, but incredibly dense conductive surface up there, grounding them rigidly, as if at an altitude of 100 kilometers, a giant metal screen is stretched out, against which the excess current of the planet strikes with force. Academic physicists provide an elegant, lulling explanation. It is, they say, just the plasma interaction of the upper atmosphere with free electrons. Beautiful terminology. But this theory has a number of critical bugs that are impossible to hide. Why is it that at this very same altitude, 100 kilometers, large meteors entering Earth's atmosphere from deep space suddenly and sharply change their trajectory? Not all of them, but the percentage is high enough that it has been officially recorded by independent optical observation stations across the globe. A meteor flies in a straight line, and then at an altitude of 100 kilometers it sharply ricochets as if glancing off a glass surface. Why is it that at this same altitude, radio waves of specific military frequencies reflect back to the Earth's surface, and they reflect not from the rarefied gas of the ionosphere, but from something material and ultra-dense? Why is it from this specific altitude that the strange ultra-low frequency acoustic vibrations reflect, causing the famous Earth hum recorded by residents in various points of the planet? 73 miles, exactly 100 kilometers. Scientific expeditions conducting deep drilling of the oldest Antarctic ice sheets have, time and again, encountered strange microspheres in the deep layers of ice, so-called tektites, pure, high-temperature melted glass. Moreover, within a radius of thousands of kilometers from these finds, there is not a single meteorite crater that could explain the appearance of this material. The glass dust was simply falling from the sky in microscopic doses, slowly, over the course of entire millennia. Every evening you look up and sincerely believe that you are seeing an infinite deep cosmos with distant cold stars before you. But this is not space. It is a colossal high-tech two-way mirror, an interactive system interface that renders the illusion of an infinite universe for your eyes in real time, so that not even a thought would occur to you to ask unnecessary questions. And over there, behind that dark dome of glass, someone is very carefully and continuously observing your every action. If our world has a physical ceiling, it means that somewhere in the system walls must exist. If there are walls and a ceiling, it means we are inside an enclosed space. If it is a room, it means someone consciously designed and built it. And if what we launch up there with all our might gets stuck dead in that ceiling, it means that those who are outside have already very clearly noticed this foolish activity of ours. Modern humanity is capable of explaining and measuring only 5% of the matter in the universe. 5%. Everything else is hypothetical dark matter and dark energy, the nature of which is absolutely unknown to science. We have somehow decoded 5% of the code on the screen, and presumptuously decided that we fully understand the entire program. But the newest space telescopes are finding galaxies at the edge of observable reality that break all simulations and constants, which for some reason keep changing their values. And declassified archives tell us in plain text that our sky is not at all what it seems from Earth. You live inside a huge, high-tech enclosure. You can proudly call it the universe or the solar system. The Matrix absolutely does not care what labels you use. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.